congratulations, you bought your first plot of land. But now what? What I like to do is let you see a little bit what's behind the curtain of owning your own first piece of property. The first thing I recommend that you do is be flexible. Your living arrangements should be top priority. What type of home are you going to live in while you wait for your land to be cleared? That's what we had to consider. Is we purchased our land raw, meaning that we had no idea what was out there. We just wanted to make sure that we weren't in a flood zone. Once we established that, it was fair game. We purchased the property cash out, and I had my husband squirrel around back there to investigate what else was going on. I was not going to go climbing through those bushes with him. He was on his own. So after that, we need to think about what is the next step. And like I mentioned, the most important thing is to find out your living arrangements while everything else is being handled on the property. You had to think about, do I want to live in an RV? Do I want to live in a mobile home temporarily? Do I want to rent an apartment? For us, we decided to rent. We found the cheapest but cleanest apartment that we can find. So that way we were able to wait while our land was being prepared for us to move on. Next stage, number 2, is be patient. That is not my strong suit. In fact, I want things done in a New York minute. So I really had to work on my patience. So that meant I had to prepare for this new RV life that I was going to establish. I went ahead and did some research, what it was like, what to expect, and some of it was quite intimidating, especially the toilet situation. So I made sure to put that aside and find a way to make this home really and truly feel like my home. Tip number 3 would be focus on your budgeting. Now there's lots and lots of videos that I've went through that talk about budgeting. I just recommend getting everything you can secondhand. My personal choice was going to the Habitat. I went there for paints, for paintings, for wall art, and I went there to make sure I can find inexpensive things to make the home feel like mine, but I had to stay in a certain budget. So that was something that was hard to do at times. That way it truly felt like it was going to be my home, because for some time it was. Acceptance. This was our new life now, and I was no longer living in the city where I could just walk to the first store. There wasn't any food trucks, there wasn't any restaurants. It was just county road. And the first place that I can get to that had all the things I needed in one store took 30 minutes to drive there, which I wasn't used to. I was used to being able to walk to the stores I wanted. They had food trucks down on every corner, it seemed like, restaurants. Everything was so accessible that I really appreciate that life. Whereas here, it takes 30 minutes to get to the most basic stores. So this was my new environment, and I had to adjust to it. But I also would remind myself, and I would like to remind you, that this is only temporary. This is not your forever home. Tip number 5, I would have to say, would be get inspired, but use caution. There's nothing wrong with going to other YouTubers' channel, looking on Pinterest or Instagram to get inspired, to figure out what type of home do you want to create. I mean, this is your first time building or having your home be built by someone else, and you want it to be just right. So you ask questions. Do I want to go with the farmhouse approach? Do I want to live in a cottage? What do I want to do, the metal home approach? That was something that I was interested in for quite some time. And then of course you have to think about the cost. So be cautious when you're watching other people on their channel, because you never know how long it took for them to get there. For instance, I've been on my property for 7 years and it's nowhere near theirs. And what I really appreciate about their channels, there's a couple that I watch, just a few, and they're very vocal and honest that it took them 20 plus years to get where that property is. Sorry, the sun is coming out. I can't help that. So I took delight in knowing that they're still working on their forever home. It takes a lot of work to get there, and we are just starting our journey. I say we because you may be just getting started, but it feels like I am too. And it's not gonna be perfect. I know sometimes we'll see channels where the woman's gliding across in her sundress looking perfect. There's music playing in the background and she's picking her flowers to make an arrangement in her house. That is not our reality. I'm still pulling up weeds and digging through stuff and trying to figure out what type of animal just ate all my food that I just planted. So it's not perfect, not even close to perfect. You have to just accept that with the journey. This is going to be hard work, work. And that all depends on what you're looking for. I personally want to create my own little paradise. And I hope that what I'm talking to you about today is encouraging. I do plan on sending out more encouraging videos, and I would love to hear your thoughts. What are you doing that gets you through the day? I know sitting in this heat right now with bees buzzing around my head, that's not my ideal. I'm an inside person, but I want to show you that you can have beautiful things all around you. This is something that didn't come with the property. This is something I had to work on. Things are gonna die. It's just the case. I had beautiful plants that just died one day. I came out and they were dead, and that costs money that you could have used to paint your house. I won't even say how many times I had to repaint the interior of my house because one day I love it, 6 months later I'm over it. I'm tired. I don't want to see it anymore. Another thing you have to consider when you're watching other people's channel is, yeah, you're inspired to think about what type of flooring do I want? What kind of doorknobs do I want? What kind of doors do I want? And that's the same thing I went through. And it's really fun, but you could become overly anxious and make poor decisions and waste money because you spent it on things that you no longer want or find value in. So I would consider that to be one of the most cautionary things I would say, is to watch out for what you like. Sorry, there's love bugs all around me. This is Texas, y'all. I'm not from Texas, so I didn't even know what a love bug was until I came out here in the country. My thoughts are just to encourage others to purchase their land, whether it be raw or someone else came through and cleaned it up for you, and you just have to think about, how am I going to keep this up? What can I do to make this look better? And that's what I like to do. So I hope that you stick around for more. I have more ideas that I want to give. So if you found anything that I said to be of encouragement to you, I hope you stick around, because the next thing I want to dig into a little more is acceptance. That was a struggle for me. I had a hard time dealing with that this is my new reality, and I had to just forget about the old life and now focus on making this my new life and be happy, because it really is a happy journey, especially if you have those around you who are of encouragement. Have a good day.